Machildeming says hello. Michael says yo.
Alright. Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Welcome back into my stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome one, welcome all. Today we're going to be back doing some more work on our project SpectroSim. I need to keep building. Build. We're going to just add some styling stuff, polish up some things. Potentially add an about, and then I think we can start to look towards resources to potentially launch the project, which is really cool. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go get on into the session today. Okay.
Rabin says yo.
Hey, how's it going, Rabin? Welcome. Yo. Okay. Sweet, you guys. Let's go ahead and let's code. Okay, so yesterday we left off on, well, let's just get the project loaded up, yeah? Okay, let's go check out. All right. Oh, I like that. Come on, boys. Let's vibe. Come on. These AI music's getting better and better. Woo! Dang. Need another terminal. Okay. Let's get into this. Alright, so I think I wanted to, let's go ahead and do what I've been trying to do and make this stuff bigger. Let's go, close our back end stuff. We're gonna work on a little bit of the front end here. Let's close our compounds. Let's close our features. Oh, we can close our buttons. Let's go AbsorbSim. Plot. No, we want AbsorbSim on pages. Okay. So let's go ahead and style this up a little bit better. Okay, this is our search here. So this is our nav bar that we're adding in, and this is our compound search section. Okay. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So we want to make this stuff overall bigger. So this is our header right here. This is XL3. Let's go 4. Okay. We have our form here with gaps. Those gaps are fine. We have our compound name here, which are compound input. So let's open up our features. Compound input right here. Let's set this. So here's our widths. So our width when we're in smaller screens is 250. So let's make this 400. No, let's do 350 here. Let's boost this up to 300. So once it restructures, does it shrink at all? Not really. I think because we need this to be on large screens, we changed it to. If I change this to, like, just for test, like 10. And made this on large screens. Okay, so it is responding. It's just small enough that we're not seeing it. So then let's make this on smaller screens. It's a bit too large. I'm gonna make this 250. There we go. And then I'm gonna also make that button smaller on smaller screens, but that looks good for compound search. So I'm giving, that's why that shadow wasn't working. There we go, now that's working appropriately. 7. Let me look up here, shadow. I go 0. On hover I give it 0.7. Transition shadow ease.
Rabin says, how long have you been coding for?
1 year, my friend. Welcome in. I appreciate you for joining me, Rabin. Rabin? How do you pronounce it? Let me know. Cool. We're getting that hover effect over the compound search, which is nice. So I'm gonna go over to the AbsorbSim. Do you guys think I should underline the header here? Compound search.
Rabin says Batman and Robin XD. Luna says, wow, I like the website design.
Underline. Thank you so much, Muna. Yeah, it's looking good so far. It's even responsive. Watch this. Hey!
It's pretty good for 1 year.
Yeah. Okay, so then I know that underline looks really, but how can we edit this underline?
Tim says good evening, Mr. Deming.
How's it going? Tailwind underline. Okay, so then I can analyze. Maybe offset. Do you guys like the underline?
Tim says Mike is never buying Tesla stock again.
I didn't own any, my friend. You don't you don't lose any on Tesla stock if you didn't own any. But who's to say I didn't pick some up on this drastic drop? I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water. Let me grab some water. Let me fill up my water. I'll be right back. All right, got my water. Got my water, ready to go. All right. Compound search. Okay. So let's go ahead. I like that. Why was that filled in?
I think when Elon gets all federal funding taken away, he'll buy the minus 30% dip.
Why did that fill in? Why does it do that sometimes? On the first one, it fills in. I kind of like the white background though. I think it helps to like kind of break it up rather than the transparent like that. I kind of like the white background. So I'm going to go to the input. Border slate. Border. Rounded on focus. Outline none. I mean border none. Oh, that's that. Outline none. Yeah. Okay, so then let's go. Let's keep the border. I hate 40 pixels. Okay, let's make the. Let's go up here. I'm gonna separate these out. It's kind of hard to read them. Okay, so we're gonna say background. Let's go to, where's our white color? In our layouts. This guy's text late 200. Okay, and then we have placeholder compound name. Did I say text black? So I'm gonna get rid of this border. Yeah. Looks clean. Real clean. Okay. Next we want, let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, is anything else on the compound input we want to do? It's kind of hard to see. This one is really bright. Jeez. No, not really. Okay. Okay. So now let's get rid of, we're done with that. Let's go to our button here. Buttons. Or let's compound input style oh my gosh. Push that up. Okay. Let's keep chugging here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's edit this search button. I think it looks pretty, the padding is too much. And I might, let me look up magnifying glass symbol in React. Okay, so if we go, let's go to our buttons, compound search button. Okay, so then we want to, this is the button here. So background is cyan 700. I'm gonna make this cyan 600. Cursor pointer, padding on the x-axis for let's do this. Okay, I don't have it. Let's go here for front end.
Trinity says hello.
Hey, how's it going? Let's go. What? Okay, let's go like this. I think it's just gonna be like this. Oh shoot. Ah.
Austin says, hi.
Ah. Such an idiot. We Git is helpful sometimes here. How's it going, Austin? Okay, so then. Okay, so now let's go cd front end. Let's do install this. Now let's go to our compound search button. Let's go import I'm gonna type this out. So if I say magnifying glass, and then I get rid of um, broken. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, so let's go with this. It should be modifying class icon. Modifying node. There we go. Think we're still good. We're getting that icon. Okay. So now let's go. What kind of properties can I give this magnifying glass? So I'm gonna look up online. Just look up using this guy Radix, right? Radix magnify.
JRG says maybe make the search icon bigger if it's possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. So what kind of okay, so some properties that it will take.
Orchidon says, I think, maybe the mobile first design will come on handy if you use it.
It already works for mobile, dude. Alright, let's keep on running here. So we want to magnifying glass icon. We'll say class name is equal to this. And let's go ahead. Alright, we want to say it has a width equal to, we can say like, I don't know, I can just give it right width of like
Orchidon says that's cool.
10. No, so that's for that's for the object around it actually. So how can I access the icon itself? So if we give this a, what if I specifically say width equal to like 24 pixels? Yeah, see, that just increases the size of this. We can still use the class name, so that's what it's doing. But width and height are just,
Orchidon says, what icon library you're using?
This is Radix here, React Icons here.
Orchidon says use size.
There's a size.
Orchidon says if you're using React icons, use size.
Ah, there you go. Thank you. Let's say 6.
Orchidon says size equals.
Okay. That looks pretty good. So now let me do this though. Let me say, what's the width of my compound? I search the input here. I'm saying width is 250 on large, height is 40 pixels. So the button itself, okay, 40 pixels. So if I say, what if I say like 60 here, like huge? Okay, it'll still scale out. Okay, good. So that said that the same height as that box there. So let's make this then like 8. 7? Nah, I guess 6 is okay. Do you guys like that icon, or should I do a different icon? React search icon. Oh my gosh. Sea creature. Oh, wow, look at all these.
JRG says think it's good enough.
Look at all these icons. I kind of like search database. Which one kind of resembles like a search compound? This guy? Did I not even need to install an extra library? Oh, okay. So React Icons is a library itself.
Max says, bless you.
Thank you.
Cooper X says, how's it going?
It's good, my friend, good. Let's go. Let's uninstall.
Cooper X says, in learning React JSRN.
And then let's go. Let's install React icons instead so we can use this library. Okay, cool. This one seems to be more like universal.
Trying to decide on the UI for my project.
Nice, Cooper. We're doing the same thing. We've been styling this up. Hey, my kitty, my doggo. Hello, hello, babies. Hello. Okay. I haven't been feeling that well, guys. I've been coming down with something today, and I didn't go into work. I didn't want to get people sick. Because stuff's been going around my work, and people have been getting sick, and there's been a lot of coughing, and people. So I didn't want to spread something around. So I took a day here, and I slept a lot of the days today. So I'm still a little raspy, and hopefully I'll be good tomorrow to wrap up some work for the week tomorrow. I don't want to have to call out again, unfortunately. You never know. You just don't want to get people sick in these nowadays, because people can get real sick from just a simple illness and die. It's unfortunate. Gotta be careful. Okay. Okay, interesting. So React icons. So then let's go. Should we do a plus or should we do? Which icon? There's so many. Which one should we do? Search not for an image. I kind of like that guy. That one's cool. Star. Which one resembles like a compound? Search for a compound. Like this guy? No, not that's a location. I saw there was like a water drop one. Is this what it's like in corporate environments, trying to a bunch of front-end developers arguing over which icon to use? Droplet? I kind of like that one. Droplet search is cool. I think that resembles kind of like a... that looks cool. Kind of? I don't know. Oh, virus search. That one looks cool. Look for a compound. That one looks cool. I can't decide. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Give me your front end wisdom. Not a person search. Frying pan. Maybe we're just being we're reading into this too much. Virus search. It kind of looks like a snowflake. I think it looks dumb. Never mind. Let's just do... Okay, come on, Mike. You gotta decide something. This is no... I think I like this guy. Fi search. Why isn't this working? Oh, I think we're serving the wrong front end here. There we go. Yeah, we were serving the wrong backend on our reload. Okay, cool. That looks really good. Okay, let's make this look a little bit bigger now.
Tim says the Indiana Pacers trailed for 46 minutes and 59.7 seconds in Game 1 of the finals, and Tyrese Halliburton hit the game winner again.
Dude, I'm telling you, people have been hating on Tyrese Halliburton. He's pretty clutch, dude. He's got a funny voice, but he can ball, man. People like to hate on him for some reason. Okay, let's go here. React icons. Change search to
Tim says his game winner versus New York that went 20 feet in the air was all skill. I agree. Shooter's touch.
Yeah, dude, he can ball, man. Let me tell you. Okay. Let's go here to our AbsorbSim page now. Let's keep working our way down here. Nice. Got that sorted out. That looks a lot better. Maybe I'm going to give it a little bit less padding, actually. Oh boy, compound search. Padding X, let's make this 4. 5. 4. Okay, then I also need to go to, hold on, let's go to compound input here. I'm going to copy this shadow. Let's take off. It's way easier to read it like this. Okay. So I put the duration. What if I say 500 here? Okay. Nice. Now let's keep moving down. That's fine. I like that. Now we have that shadow effect as well on the button hover. Okay, so then let's go ahead and style. Let's make this text a little bit bigger. All right, so we have search status indicator right here, which is this guy here. So we don't want that. We want pubchem reference, which is right here. Okay, so then we're gonna say text 2xs, 1xs, small. Let's just say 10 pixels, 20 pixels, 15 pixels, 12.
Carolus says woo.
How's it going?
Carolus says dude you shouldn't use tags in React. Carolus says use React router.
Oh yeah, I have that installed. Huh. Sorry, it's just for a link. Today's source in a. Oh no, that back. We're gonna go like this. I'm gonna take this off. Okay. That looks really good. Okay, that looks really good. Okay. So now, let's say,
Carolus says nice work, keep going.
and 200. Should I just make it the same text as the search status? Search status, flow, rep baselines, I think so. Does this have on a line? Wrap XL. And text bottom. Whatever, doesn't really do anything. Okay, so this has a PubChem reference has no margin on it. This has a margin bottom of 3. I see this 2. And then compound search section, here's the header. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna say here, margin bottom 2. Oh no, that's for this whole section. Got you. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say okay, success. Okay, then we have, so compound search section is here on this div here that ends on at the end of database. The search status indicator is not in the compound search section, which it should be. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this margin bottom of 9. I'm also going to remove this margin top. Because that gap between those items. So then compound search gap of 2. So we're gonna have a gap here. We have this form. It has a gap. And then this has a gap, the PubChem reference. Then why does the search status indicator not apply the gap to this? That's why margin bottom here. Okay, so then if I increase the overall gap between these items in the compound search section of like 4, 8. Okay. PubChem reference. Okay, so now we're getting that gap applied, so let's put that back to like 4, 2. So what if I say 0? So this has a natural interesting. Okay, so that if I say gap of 4 here, say gap of 6, say 4. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm I'm just gonna lower this status. Now that looks fine. I think that looks really good. Now it's cleanly even. Now there's a lot of even spacing between these elements happening with just one thing. Okay, nice. So now we need to make this download button work and add axes labels. Right? Per Tim's request in the Discord. Okay, so let's go here. Style, compound, search, section. Okay. We now want to link the download button, or now everything else is styled pretty good. I like the styling of everything else. We just need to link this download button and then do the plot axes labels. Okay, so let's go down. Here's our plot generation, info. Okay, here's our right section, which is our plot download button. Here's our plot download button. So we're going to give a on click props dot. We're going to run a function here called handle download plot. So let's write a function here. Const handle download plot equals to async event So we'll prevent default. Or I don't think we need to do that. So on the event, that's for plot. Okay, so let's go to my buttons, generate plot button. Let's put props on click. Good, we have that. So then I go, oh, that's generate. No, I want to Well, I'm calling the same thing. That's the same button that's being used. So
Douglas Stark says good evening.
how's it going, dude? We're importing. Okay, let's see here. We might need to go like this. Import.
Anand says hey guys, how's it going?
Good, dude. How's it going? Basic dish. So we can install this into our front end.
Anand says completely bombed my interview yet again.
Oh, what happened, dude? Handle download plot here. So if I want to
Douglas Stark says let me be curious. What did you build for the final project of CS50 Python?
just a chemical inventory manager, basically. It's pretty simple, with like a CSV kind of thing. I have a video of it on my channel. Go check it out. Okay, so we need to go into our plot. Plotly. AbsorbSim plot. We need to go over here and type in the we need to go here and go ref equals to props dot
Douglas Stark says
lot
because the only thing missing
ref.
for you is the final project for that. I'm still pretty lost on ideas of what to build for that. Anand says I said all SQL databases are relational, but not all relational databases are SQL databases, and she didn't agree. I gave her examples, but she wasn't impressed, and we went back and forth for a while.
Oh, you went back and forth with her, dude? Oh, rip, man. Sometimes you gotta just plead the fifth. Yeah, Douglas, it doesn't have to be very complex. It's don't try not to reinvent the wheel. Like just do something simple and build small and then scale up over time. In right? So prop stop prop ref. So then in our absorption page, So we'll also go here and say import React. Use ref. Okay, so then if we want to handle compound, we're going to say const our plot ref is equal to.
I just couldn't let her live in ignorance when I knew I could drive her out of it, LMAO.
What? Was she wrong? You said that you were wrong. I said that all students. Oh, I'm right. Maybe you think she was wrong? What does the almighty orb say? I don't even know. So if we say plot use ref is null. Oh, so hold on, no, this is going to be a variable outside of our function. Right? So then I say if
Tim says trick question. No one wants to work with a know-it-all. Let's ask GPT for the appropriate strategy for this.
If plotref.current, we're going to type plotly, we're going to access its download image on the plotref.current.
Douglas Stark says, what are you solving for today?
And we're going to download it with format quote PNG file name is going to be equal to we'll use some JavaScript here and I'll say compound name.
Anand says I wasn't being a know-it-all. I just didn't want her to think that I didn't know about databases.
I wasn't being a know-it-all, I just don't want her to think I didn't know. What? That's so funny, dude. You kill me.
Anand says, but I get it. Feeding egos is more important at times.
File name, absorption, spectroscopy.
Justin says, when are you going to leak code?
Everybody was like, screw this project, just leak code.
Tim says in the Hall of Fame ego feeder.
Everyone says, screw this, just leak code. You guys kill me. Absorption spectroscopy. Okay. I'm gonna say width is gonna be. What do I have my width of a pot here as? Let's look up what is a 4-3 width. Oh my gosh. 800 by 600. What the heck is going on here? Oh. Right? Let's see scale. 2. Okay. So then
says, I remember once a 58-year-old lady was the technical recruiter. I decided to wing my interview, then she proceeded to roast my portfolio for 23 minutes before I told her to stop.
So then plot ref. So if I go to my plot, oh, I'm passing in the plot, right? So we have AbsorbSim. We got to give it the plot ref equals to, no, what do we say? Ref. Plot ref.
Mohammed says, is this React?
Yes, yes sir, welcome in. This is React, welcome. React and Tailwind. How's it going, guys? My name's Michael. I'm 26. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're pushing up towards 2,500. And also, please like the stream. It really, really helps. If you guys aren't following on Twitch or YouTube, consider doing that. I added a Twitch alert. So I want to know if it works. Let me know if it works, if you guys are on Twitch. I'm going to go... I added an alert thing, so let's see if it works here. Let's see. Let me do like a dummy one. So if I go here, dashboard. Alerts. Edit alerts. Send test alert. Oh, let's go. It works.
Let me be the idiot and ask, why not use TypeScript instead of JS?
No idea, dude. I don't even have an answer for you. Okay. I never even really heard of it much. Okay. I'm still learning JS here. I'm terrible at JS. I have to get a lot of help with it. I can write Python with my eyes closed, but I can't write JS.
How's your project going?
It's going good. It's going good. So we have plot ref. Okay, let's try it. Okay, ready? Let's try it. Salicylic acid, search, generate, download. Let's go! Ah! Yeah, no! Where's our data? Where's the data? No! No! What? Let's get rid of this. Is it this?
Myrtle says, I see that you've implemented conditional rendering, some impressive improvements, I'd say.
Yeah, it's going good so far. We got a lot of progress so far. Generate, download. No! Ah!
Myrtle says, oh, you've progressed so much, great job, bro.
Oh, shoot.
Myrtle says you can download graphs now.
Huh. So this is my plot. We have ref is equal to plot ref. Props.plot ref. In here, we're assigning plot ref to this plot. And then we are if plotref.current download plotref.current. Let's see what it has to say about this. Very close, but power lengthy. To fix the blank issue, use okay, so async event const plot if. Okay, so we say it wants us to add this const plot div is equal to plot.ref current right, and then ask for its container. If plot div in this case, then Then we're going to render the plot div. But my plot looks like this. This is my plot. So then in my absorb sim in my here, we handle down the plot on the click, which yeah. But our absorb sim plot is here. Which has a plot ref and plot ref. X data, Y data, title. Okay, so let's start debugging here then. Let's go on the event. I'm going to go here and go console.log the plot ref dot current. No, the plot div here. So if I undefined, that's okay. So undefined.
Brittle says try logging plot ref current.
Okay. Plotly component. Okay, so let's just download the plot ref current. So I don't need to do that. If this, then download the plot ref current. It's just blank. Okay, so I say I logged the plot ref dot current and got the plotly object, but it's blank, right? You're getting the component instance, not the actual DOM node. Okay, so then let's. Okay, so then let's do this. Let's go comp plot ref. Set plot ref.
Myrtle says try giving the plot ref current to I, that might work.
Let's say this is plot ref. Right,
Myrtle
set
says
plot
you
ref.
logged it right.
Okay, let's use state on this. So it's a handle download plot. So then let's go here. Let's say on click of the generate, we're going to update the use state. So by default, the use state is going to be null. So then on click on compound search, no, on click of and the plot generation, no section. For status indicator, compound table. Handle plot generation. So handle plot generation. Here. Okay, we just set this stuff. So then I'm also going to update set plot ref as
Gina says your stream rocks.
Hey Gina, how was work? Okay, so we said use state null. We have handle download plot.
Gina says work was great. Gina says did you?
Oh, gotcha. My bad. Oh, how'd that go? How did that go? Okay, so plot ref use state. Okay, so if I say handle download plot, we'll say if plot ref, right? Because this by default is null. So if plot ref, then we're going to download the plot ref. So then then that's fine as is. I'm gonna remove this part though. I'm gonna put this part over here. Have the ID come first. Okay. So then we're gonna say, okay, that's fine as is. So then we'll come down here into the plot. Absorption plot here. The plot ref this becomes just set plot ref here. Okay, and then in our plot component, okay, so instead of ref, we'll say on initialized, you have a figure and a graph div, which goes, oops, a function. We say if props.set plot ref props.set plot ref to the graph div. So let's go aspirin, search, generate, download. Figure. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so we have the absorb sim. We're trying to download this plot. So we say the plot ref is to set plot ref. On click, we handle download plot. So here's my handle. Download plot.
Nito says, if I want books for Learn Python from Zero to Hero.
Yeah, you should join my Discord then. I have a bunch of books in there for you guys. With my notes and everything. So if plot ref.
Nito says, can you recom to me name books?
What's it? No. Okay, so it's not getting anything. Plot ref is still null. If props.setPlotRef props.setPlotRef to
Nut
graph
says,
div.
when do we go full neckbeard and switch to Linux?
If props.
Nut says, or learn Vim motions.
Set plot ref. Set plot ref. in the plot. No. So we set ref. Yes. Yes. That looks awesome. Nice. Okay. Okay, so we just had to use the useState function to update the plot reference rather than use ref. Because that was getting the reference of the container, but not what's actually on the DOM page. We had to use the state to access the state of the DOM element. So now if we type in caffeine, generate. Yo, let's go. We're cooking. Okay. Okay, so do we need to clean anything up here?
Nuts says noise.
If props.set plot ref props.set plot ref to grab div. On initialized, you save the grab div here and then the actual figure here. Okay. Interesting. Gotcha. All right. Let's go. That looks awesome. So let's go here. Link. Link. Download.
John says, an expert gives plus 50 programming skills.
Bro, I'm already there, boys. I'm already there.
Says glasses plus 20.
What, a FUPA plus 45? Moobs and FUPA plus 100? That's just like gym badge. That's just put you to corporal rank. Moobs and FUPA. Let's go!
John says mayo.
Let's go. That's awesome. Okay, now we're getting the downloads. Okay, so that's super cool. I'm super happy about that. It looks really nice. It looks really clean. We just need to, there's one last thing we need to do here. So let's go, or not one last thing, but one thing we need to do here is that we need to, this button has a different color now, I think, than the other ones. So let's go to buttons.
What are the further plans for this site?
So now that we have this page pretty much like done, we're just gonna work on the home page and the about page, and then we're kind of ready to push and like get like this project up and going. But then I'm not done with it. I would really like to add an additional page for custom sim. So it's gonna be called custom sim, and it's gonna be a different like product on the page or on the site where you can put in your own parameters for, you know, wavelength, epsilon. You can add as many peaks as you would like. You can have your own lambda at whatever wavelength and epsilon for those peaks. You can alter the concentration of the compound. You can alter the light length, that's the distance from the cuvette to where you're actually transmitting this light from. And you can edit all those variables within some sort of kind of interface, and then you can generate the plot custom to you. And then that'll be, I think, like a good kind of place for the site to kind of stay at for a 1.0, and then we can research some additional spectroscopy techniques and incorporate them onto the site then.
John says, maybe even randomization button. Brittle says,
yeah, a randomization button would be really cool. So if you press random, it would fill in all of those gaps that you would have. So you could say, okay, I want 5 peaks, and then you press random, and then it could give you, like, it would just basically randomize everything from there, or you could customize it exactly how you want it to generate absorption spectroscopy plots. But once we have custom sim and absorption, then we could add in like many different types of spectroscopy, like UV or infrared, or like a different bunch of stuff like that, right? So that'd be pretty cool. All right, so let's go really quickly. Let's go open up our buttons. So these are our 2 buttons. So let's put them side by side here.
Brittle says, I think you should either enter details of a lot many chemical compounds, or you should try finding some API that has data.
Hover back
Says
500.
pretty solid work made.
Hover, text slate 200, text slate 100. So if I say caffeine search, there we go. Now that has that. Now we need to. So I'm just gonna put it format it how the other one is. I like this visual, it's a lot easier to read.
Using ChemHub or whatever for API.
Yeah, I'm already using an API. You can search up any compound within PubChem, and then I'm caching compounds along the way, so I don't have to redo and do additional repeated work on my server. So I'm caching compounds along the way here. I just need to alter this cache to not include the wavelengths, and have those wavelengths be hard-coded on the front end to have less data. Because right now I'm transmitting a list of absorption, which I need, and then I'm having just a static list of wavelengths that never changes per compound. So I can consume that on the front end and not transmit that over the transfer or the serve. So, okay, so let's go back here. Hover. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. So we fit the width here, padding X, padding Y, text center, cyan 200. So I'm going to take this shadow, easing it out.
Brittle says, I've questioned the caching setup. Can you control what all data are being cached, or are you caching everything about a compound?
No, you're a little late to the party, my friend. We've been working on this for like a month now. Yesterday we have a web scrape here that we are receiving mass data from, and then I'm extracting out absorption spectro, grouping individuals with regular expression, finding matches, and then customizing and building these custom objects. So this data is all customized as what I wanted to extract out. I'm only getting the data I need out of this huge JSON return. Okay, so then, now that we have that shadow effect, So I'm gonna make the duration 500 here, so it's a little bit smoother. Ease in and out. What if I make this like 5,000? Well, I think that's for the transition duration.
Nut says so when a user searches something that hasn't been cached, the Python server does web scraping?
Yeah, it'll fetch it, it'll parse out the information, cache it, and then give it back. So it might be a little bit slower on the, and we can try to optimize it when we get some more practice and get it actually on the web and on the server. We'll have to try to see if we can optimize it even more from there, but yeah, that's essentially it. But I do plan on writing a script though to cache a bunch of compounds pre-launch. So I'm gonna like access like up to like 10,000 compound names on the site and just run a script to just basically cache as many as I can. But I also need to add to my cache.
Nut says how many compounds exist. Myrtle says so I think you should keep an array of all the wavelengths in some file like config or something and use wavelengths from that instead of the ones coming from the cache. But this is only applicable in. Myrtle says the wavelengths are the same for every other compounds.
Yeah, exactly. So we're probably going to put the wavelengths on the front end so we don't even have to send it over the internet.
Nut says yeah, I think he mentioned doing something like that.
Yeah, we're going to put it on the front end. But we also need to add to our cache, right? So currently something our cache does not properly do is that it doesn't keep unsuccessful compounds, right? So if I search up, let's search up like sodium. Sodium is on PubChem, but I have no UV vis data available for, there's no absorption spectroscopy under my current regular expression scraping that applies for sodium, right? We can, if we want to, we can go back in, right? Let's go to PubChem. If we want to, we can go back in and try to fine tune our regular expression comp to find another type of match. But it's right, so there is no absorption spectral information here. UV spectra in yellow flame in this at this wavelength, right? So there is no absorption spectra of like a sodium chloride, but like if we look up like sodium chloride, hey, we got a follow, someone used it. Nice, thanks so much for using the Twitch alerts or following along. The Twitch alerts are working. Yay, I'm so glad I got that to work. That's so awesome. I heard it in the background. Okay, let's look up Max. Yeah, so sodium chloride doesn't have one either. It doesn't even have spectral data. So what we need to do is we need to cache compounds. Every compound needs to be cached when looked up, so we don't have to use an API call for it unsuccessful. We can immediately give it back.
John says, are you enjoying Redwood or do you prefer native apps in Python?
I don't know. I kind of miss just building in Python solely. Like when I was doing the Tkinter, the small business manager, and building that in Tkinter, dude, I could just move so fast because I was just Python just like I had to look a couple of stuff up like about certain types of widgets and things like that, but once I figured out how to kind of use Tkinter and learn what the methods, dude, being able to just fluently type Python is so nice. But having the web aspect of it and being able to access it from anywhere is just kind of like, honestly, it's just really unbeatable in terms of like user ability, right? If you have to be at home on your computer to access it, right, then with it where it's downloaded, then it limits you. But if you can access it from any website and any web source, then that's just a whole different ball game. Okay. What the heck happened to my thing? Oh yeah. Okay. So if we go, let's go salicylic acid. Let's search, generate, download, save. Yay! Woo! Okay, now we need to add X and Y labels to the plot, and that might be where we call it for tonight. Um, I feel bad. I want to do some leak code with you guys, but this project's really kicking my butt. It's taking a lot of time. Um, it's not difficult, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot about user activity, interactivity between different types of languages, front end and back end, responses. I have learned a ton, and just in my general JavaScript knowledge has increased drastically. I still have a lot to go. I still think I'm going to take like an official JavaScript course, and potentially like read a book about it just to get even more familiar with it. But from where I was understanding of it to where I am now, like it's night and day difference of being able to at least read it when given it to me, like, and understand what's going on. Okay. Yes, exactly, John. Exactly, my friend. All right, so let's go ahead and add the X and Y labels. Style our buttons. Okay, now let's go open up our absorption plot, x-axis, label, oh no, text, lol, no, x-axis, dang, what is it? Anybody know what the labels are for Plotly? Plotly axis labels. X label, Y label functions. Plotly, sorry. It is just text. No way. That's what I did. So this is going to be no, it's not there. Tick font. Oh, it's title, text, test. There we go. And then it's font, color, text color. Yes, there we go. So we'll go size 18, 16, 14, text color. Okay, this is going to say absorbance. AU.
Badu says, say hi, dude.
How's it going, dude? Welcome, Badu. Welcome back. It's awesome to hear from you again, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take this. This is my... This is wavelength in nanometers. So then we're going to copy, though, this title basically over on the x-axis and then put this guy here. Okay, I like that. I want to just make sure I have everything I need here.
Badu says, how is going on, dude?
Okay, looks good. It's going good. All right, Mr. Tim, we got the X and Y axis is on here for you. Looks really good. Woo! Okay, and then let's go ahead and add that up. Okay, so you just, on Plotly then, you just use this nested, use the title, and then you can modify the text, the font, so you just kind of use this kind of JavaScript notation of this JSON notation of nested dictionaries.
Odin says, you, what's up, what you're making?
We're making a SpectroSim. All right, so that's the plot. That looks really good. Let's push that up. Add plot axis labels.
Douglas Stark says, are you using a lid for web scraping in Python? If yes, which one?
I'm not using a library really for web scraping. I'm not using Beautiful Soup or anything. I'm doing it myself. So I'm getting an API call I'm using response. So I guess I'm using the response module or library, requests. So I'm using a request to get is it response or request? I think it's request, right? Yeah, requests. So I'm using request to get to query an API. And then once I get that information back, I use it one more time to query the API for the actual, so I get a compound ID, and then I query for the compound data if that compound ID exists. And then I use basically just regular expression. Yes, we do commit message. Yeah, I don't use I don't use this. I like to do it in the console. That's how I learned it. or been learning. We read Pro Git on the channel, so that definitely helped level up our Git knowledge way like tenfold, honestly, about branching, merging, version control in general, project management, pull requests, issue reviews, all that kind of stuff. When we were reading Pro Git, we still haven't finished the book. We got like 2 more chapters, but we read chapters 1 through 7 live on the channel. We took a week and read a chapter every day. Um, okay, so nice. But yeah, I'm using regular expression then to just parse over this return script basically, or return uh, data structure, and then I'm extracting out I'm getting a search value for this max absorption, and then if I get that pattern, I extend my pattern. I basically what I'm doing is I find this keyword in my script, or in that object, and then I loop from there.
Yeah, console is a totally cooler experience than using that thing on scope.
Yeah, so we search for max absorption, right? And then I have a solvent pattern and a data pattern. This I just basically looked at whatever this pattern. I just created a pattern that resembled the exact data that they were using for reporting their absorption spectroscopy, which is this, and we had some bugs we had to work through, but we got it, and then we got a start and stop span using that match return from the. So all we're looking for is just this max absorption keyword in this found return, right?
Do you look at the diffs before you commit? Scode has nice built-in diff viewer.
I haven't looked at those yet. I haven't looked at the diffs yet.
Riddle says, yeah, I do.
So then, if we, so I get the start span, and what that does is I then slice starting at the start span until I see the delimiting character of a quote. So I've noticed that PubChem, they will delimit the end of their reported data with a singular quote. So that was really nice that they actually did that on their structuring of their data, because I was able to utilize that to just basically go character by character till I hit the delimiter, capturing then that entire string. And then once I have basically my new match, right, I capture, basically create a new string containing that max absorption and then any data preceding it or following it, not preceding, following it. Because before yesterday, I was only getting the first peak. So it'd say max absorption and then give you the first peak. And so I was only getting one. But sometimes for different compounds, they gave you multiple peaks back to back, just separated by semicolons. So I incorporated this kind of character by character parsing until you hit the delimiter, so I can capture all of the peaks. And then now, like in aspirin, you have one peak here, but in caffeine, you have multiple peaks. You have 3. So now what we're doing is we're creating a new match string by going from max absorption, going until we hit the delimiting character, and then I basically use my regular expression to these patterns to extract out all the different groups. So this is one peak, right? This is the data for one peak. So I use re.search on the solvent pattern to get out the solvent, which I get out, and I don't need to print here. That's for my debugging. And then I get out, and then I cut off the ends of it, which are basically these 2 parentheses, right? And then I use the find all in regular expression using my data pattern to find all the occurrences of an absorption within that new string I created. And so once I do that, I get a bunch of matches back for each of these peaks in the form of a tuple, right, for these groups, or I get match objects back. And then I loop over the data matches, which are tuples, I'm sorry, because I have 2 groups here, group 1 and group 2. Sorry, group 2 right here. So it gives me out the 2 groups per match in a tuple, and then I just do some work to find the max epsilon out of there, and then track that. By default, I track the max lambda out of there as well to keep that information for here.
Same, I always checked if before I commit BC. Sometimes I left a wild comment I forgot at lol.
Oh, is the diff just like the view diff between what you changed between file, so you can see actually what you're committing difference wise. So in case you have like comments or little print statements to debug, you don't push those out, right? And so that's all that's doing. And then I'm just adding that lambda max to my kind of object here, and then
John says for that.
um, right for every data match, because I'm overriding data matches, and then I'm creating them here. And then I'm adding the data matches as the absorption spectral data to the compound dict. And then I delete out the key for that, what I returned, and then I return the compound dict. So if you want to see how I wrote this, go back to the stream yesterday and to some previous
Finally
streams.
says which
Uh,
framework is this?
I have in the title like web scraping or whatever when I was trying to figure this out and learn it, and I think this is a cool approach. We're using React, Tailwind, Python, yeah, Fast API. Cool. So now let's go ahead and let's just do one last thing really quick here. Let's go into our main program here. This is where we're caching files. So I need to think about a way of, so right now what we're doing is we're opening our cache, and I get,
Bandicoot says Django or Flask?
so given an, I've been using Fast API. It's a lot easier than Flask, but I know a lot of people use Flask in their frameworks like publicly on like companies and stuff. So um, but we've done projects with Flask before though in CS50. So we given a
Biochemist
name.
says dude can you start huge free Python course if it would be helpful for newbie Python programmers. I saw your videos, you knew well about how to teach, that's why I asked it would helpful. Murid says neither.
I feel like this is a Python course. I've on it like you use this stream to your advantage. Like I have streamed every single day for the past like 7 or 8 months now, me teaching myself completely transparent Python, web dev, computer science, mathematics, just programming in general. Like everything I've learned has been literally documented and recorded as like a video journal series. So like just like honestly like query in on my YouTube channel, like just put search on my YouTube channel on my titles for like what you're looking for, and if and maybe I've learned like something about it like Python, you know, and go back and watch those and see how I learned. Like there's tons of like Python courses that do
Online courses.
that teaching you of like the loops and the and the exactly nugs. There's tons of there's already enough like things that teach you the basics of loops and functions and classes and whatnot. But I think what you're asking for is regarding like the ability to teach yourself, which yeah, that is a skill that I've been able to develop, and you have to be able to learn that skill to teach you have to be able to teach yourself that skill to teach yourself stuff. It's a paradox or whatever, but um, yeah, I don't even know if that's the right word. But no, that's an interesting idea. And if you have any questions, I always ask. But like I said, is everything I've done is completely transparent. I've tried like whatever I've learned. I've only done very few coding sessions off stream. You know, I really try to wait and do everything live for you guys to go back and reference. So, how do you feel about that, Badu?
John says learning to learn is best skill in programming.
Yeah.
Badu
So
says
if you're
Badu
looking for things like Python, like this in my opinion is probably I haven't used a lot of other resources, so I do have a little bit of a bias, but I think
learn
that
how to
this
learn
is
another YT clickbait title.
learn how to learn. Yeah. Um,
John says with Google and ChatGPT I rarely look at tutorials anymore. Nut
yeah,
says I agree
exactly.
bro.
Exactly. John's exactly hitting the head. I think the age and days of tutorials are going to die, because you can. I really don't think people get it. Like, and this is why I'm so heavily invested. This is, beside the point of why I'm so heavily invested into tech, especially AI companies for the foreseeable future, in my own investment portfolios, because I personally believe through my own experience using these tools that this is going to be the future of learning, of education, of teaching, of whatever. I think AI is going to completely revamp the education system. I don't think that kids are going to be, um, they potentially might put. I think the biggest people that unfortunately that are at risk are, I think, are educators and teachers are the biggest people at risk to lose their jobs. That's my hard take. That's my cancel me takes. But I think, unfortunately, now it's really kind of strange, and I really wonder what direction it's going to go in. But I've kind of bypassed the need to go back to college. In all honesty, you guys, like, yes, there's stuff that I'm missing, but like, if we can just remove that need for the title of the college, of the institution that gives it to you,
Myrtle says,
there's
I
like
know my code is sometimes completely rewritten by I itself.
like now I'm not talking about like having it do things for you, right?
Myrtle
That's a
says,
completely
Michael,
different,
I think I
um,
still need to know how to read textbooks and watch lectures. I really think that
yeah,
learning from AI leaves college gaps. Nut says I
no
think
knowledge
it's too
gaps.
powerful for kids' adolescence because I think it's at that time they should learn how to learn and chat could stunt that. Coach says,
Definitely it
Mom,
has to be used
sorry.
responsibly, Nugs, right? For sure. Agree with you there. So I think that there's going to be like maybe like a revamp of
Autumn
how.
says, but I don't know how to learn myself.
Now, maybe here, it's just brainstorming. Maybe we will have teachers, but I think that kids in general are just going to become way smarter, way faster. Um, those that, now, I will preface it, I will say those that use it correctly, that actually learn from and not just copy from. Um, I think they're going, and I think that the gap between education is going to be, a lot larger. Whereas you'll have a lot of people that relied heavily on AI to get by, and a lot of people that used AI as a tool, and there's going to be a gap in the middle, that's going to grow. Um, I don't know. It's just fun to brainstorm about. It's really interesting to think about. It's honestly going to
Autumn
it's
says,
going to
maybe the
change so many
biocommunication
industries.
sector creates some dedicated
I
tools in a
like I
startup.
said is I personally, I one of my investment philosophies in the market is I invest in products that I use on a daily basis, or like on an annual basis, and I use ChatGPT every single day. And so if I'm using it every single day, then I guarantee you there's a lot of other people that are using it every single day, and that's only going to get increase in my opinion. So don't fight it. Just you know,
Myrtle says, that's well said, Michael. Learn from and not copy from.
yeah.
Nut says, my prediction is there's gonna be a ton of annoying know it alls.
A toy. We come across a few of those on the channel, man. Let me tell you, they like to pop in here and give their 2 cents. That's funny. I like that. No, I do think that there's gonna be a gap, and people are gonna really struggle, like maybe in the workforce, to have passion,
Myrtle says,
because they're
that's
gonna
well said.
have relied on ChatGPT to get by a lot of their, education in younger years, where they are supposed to develop those passions. But I think that there will be a group of people that use it responsibly, and they're going to be super successful. I think, like, if I was able to teach myself calculus with the tools I have now, back when I was taking calculus in college, I did get an A in calculus, but I think I would have saved hours of studying time. Hours of studying time, in my opinion. Like, I remember grinding books and practice problems over and over and over again because I just wasn't understanding it, because it just wasn't being explained very thoroughly. Like, it was just, but the way that the AI is able to break it down with repeated prompting to, further dive deeper into certain subjects without the constraint of having to pay an educator to sit there and talk with you, or the constraints of their time as well. It's there for you 24/7. It can provide you the same information that a lot of your professors can. So, um, do your due diligence and whatever you think. But in my opinion, I've got, I've got a lot riding from my wallet onto these companies, let me tell you. All right.
Lie says, Saludos desde
Hey,
Uruguay.
Uruguay. Awesome, dude. That's so crazy. My dad lived in Uruguay for 2 years, or for a little while. Not sure exactly how long, but he lived there. What's some cities
Nut
uh,
says I
in
don't think
Uruguay
this
that I
replace it
remember?
for spaced repetition.
What is a what are some cities in
Lie
Uruguay?
says, Hi.
Um, what are some cities in Uruguay I can shout
Lie
out
says,
here?
I think the new generation struggles to self-teach. I have a younger sibling. I just don't see the intuition to Google or search for tutorials. I don't know if I blame AI in all honesty. Lie says, Montevideo.
Montevideo. Yes, sorry, Montevideo. Ly. Do you like the dulce de leche? Oh, dude, my dad would get that. He would have some of his old colleagues when he lived there
Lie says, City.
back to send him some authentic, like a jar of it. I remember just taking spoonfuls of that stuff. Ooh, so good, so good. All right, you guys. So tomorrow I'm gonna work on having our cache actually cache failed searches, right? So if a compound is in PubChem but it doesn't work, right? Right. So this compound is in
That should be so
PubChem.
hard.
Um,
Francisco says, here from Bolivia. Make a compound of coca, please.
nice, Bolivia. We got a lot of international people that support me. I really appreciate all you guys' support internationally.
John
Thank you
says,
guys
lol.
so much. Um, so right now, sodium is on PubChem.
Art says, lol.
Sodium is on PubChem, but um, right, we can optimize this program a little bit better by by not only saving successful cache searches, but also saving failed cache searches. So if they search for a compound, we don't need to query for the compound, response and look for a max absorption or whatever and do that whole run that whole script because we know from a previous we've already done that. We can save sodium in here and just give its data as null and then like it's we can have sodium be the key and its value be null. So then if we search up sodium, we just immediately hit that key with that constant time search. We're using our key, our hash key, or our map key, and then we don't have to parse that right now if they say like test or something, no matter like it's gonna search for it, right? Because like and we're not gonna cache like just typos or miss things like or words that just random words like right like so like oranges, like if someone types in oranges here, it's going to unfortunately query the API for oranges, right? And then so there's nothing we can really do about that, and I'm not going to cache just every word in the English dictionary that isn't a compound, right? So it's interesting. What do you guys think about that? So we definitely want to add a feature to cache unsuccessful searches for compounds that do not have UV data that are on PubChem, but we don't want to cache just random words um, like oranges or bananas. Like we want to cache sodium and chloride and stuff like that because those don't have UV data, but they are on PubChem. They are compounds. Let me turn back on chat. Sorry. Um,
Lai says, they don't even have enough to eat. Myrtle says, greetings from India.
cheers from Cali. Cache everyone that is. Hey, greetings from India. Yeah, we got India in here. We got Brazil, Bolivia. That's our Uruguay. We literally have like all the ends of the earth covered right now. That is insane. That's actually like mind blowing. The reach that some just kid in his room is able to get here. I am really like kind of speechless. You guys got to really think about that. Wow. That's nuts. All right, what else do you guys think we should add?
There's a way to validate the string before even sending the request.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I could have like,
Nut says it doesn't seem right to have caches for every potential hit. Nut says potential miss.
yeah, right. We don't want to have a cache for every English word that isn't a compound, like oranges or bananas or apples. Like we don't want that.
Francisco says, to be honest, that Harvard attract me like mosquito, but BTFL stream.
To be honest, that Harvard attract me like mosquito, but BTFL stream. What does BTFL stand for? Sorry, dude. I'm not sure what your message means. Sorry, man. What do you mean? So, what do you guys think? How can we handle
Nut says, what's the website for compound data, Chan?
PubChem? PubChem. It's got 121 million compounds, 334 million substances. Holy. 297 million bioactivities.
Time API called to cache all the available compounds in PubChem. Douglas Stark says, I meant for every compound idea, maybe. Plot various compounds on the same graph. Nut says 121 M compounds.
121 million. We're done for. It's over. We're done for. We're done for. 121 million. We're done for. Ugh. How can we handle this? Let's talk to the AI. I want to discuss my cache of searches. I am trying to figure out a way to optimize the user experience when searching for compounds. I am using PubChem to PubChem API to on a search to get the CID of the compound, and if that then exists, to query the API for the rest of the data for me to scrape. I am caching successful searches after I reformat the results into my desired data struct, but
Douglas Stark says it'd be easier to query AI for it.
I'm caching successful searches after I reformat it into desired data struct. I also want to cache unsuccessful searches that do not have I am caching successful searches after I reformat the results into my desired data struct. I also want to cache unsuccessful searches that do not have UV data but are on that have a CID, so I don't have to request them again. But this brings up the difficulties of storage and data on my server getting really large. I am trying to learn more about caching and options regarding my current dilemma issue. Don't write code or anything. Oh my gosh. Let's just talk about it and learn. Alright, this is a smart and necessary direction to be thinking in, especially for a project like yours that interacts with external APIs like PubChem. Let's unpack your goals and concern around caching from a conceptual and architectural perspective. Your current goals. Speed up user experience. Avoid repeated API calls for previous searched compounds. Cache successful queries if a compound has useful UV data. Save it after formatting. Cache partial failures. If a compound has a CID but lacks UV data, still mark it to avoid future redundant calls. Yes, exactly. Minimize storage bloat. You're worried about indefinite growth of your cache/data storage, especially as users or you query thousands of compounds over time. Key concepts in caching. Here are some caching strategies and trade-offs you may want to weigh. In memory, in-memory cache, LRU, TTL. Pros: fast access, ideal for current session or high-frequency lookups. Cons: volatile, disappears on server restart, not good for persistent caching. Use case: quick, short-term caching, that's not really what we want. So persistent caching. SQLite, Redis with persistence or file system. Pros: durable, survives reboots and scales better with structured recoverability. Requires clean strategy and size monitoring, storing compounds data long term, even for negative results. Successful versus failed lookups. It's smart to cache both types. TTL or expire caching. You can introduce a time to live. Oh, that's a good idea.
Says if they have an API exposing that data, just cache the most frequently. Choose a limit of compounds cached. 200,
Yeah.
1000, 10K.
So UV data doesn't change often, so successful entries could be cached for months. Failed entries might expire sooner in case of PubChem updates or fixes missing data. This keeps storage in check while allowing new attempts after a while. Size limited LRU or LFU. LRU, least recently used, or LFU, least frequently used policies. Least recently used or least frequently used policies can be used to evict older or less used entries. So that's kind of like what Douglas is saying. This is a good fit if you expect lots of users or inputs and you want to cap storage. So we could give like a weight and track searches across these compounds and then eliminate searches over a period of time that have a certain weight that doesn't meet a threshold. Like let's say it was only searched once, so like if we then run a script every month or something that would go through our data source and delete out every compound that only was searched less than, let's say, 5 times or something like that.
John says tracking searches is smart.
Yeah, we could track searches by updating a search counter basically within the data structure of the compound that we created, and then run a timed script every so often to clear.
John says cache top 10K compounds or whatever.
Yeah, cache the top 10,000. So keep the top 10,000 and delete whatever is.
Douglas Stark says maybe renew the TTL for the compounds that were searched.
Yeah. So if you search a compound, it just resets its time to
Francis
expire.
Says, stun and run.
Yeah, these are some good ideas. Tiered storage. Use Redis with TTLS. A million compounds is about a gigabyte if stored efficiently. You can save huge space by not storing the full API response.
I don't even think you need caching for it to be a good tool, but if you want just for learning, that could be food.
No, that's why I'm doing it. Like we could just API. I don't think there's any hard limits. I think there might be some throttling that happens after some time, but I don't think there's any limits that PubChem really gives you. So we don't even really need to do this. I'm just doing this because I want to learn about caching and I want to optimize it even more just as a developer. Leak code's gotten to me, man. How can we make this faster? I've got the leak code bug. Okay, I'll say interesting. I like the idea of tracking searches and keeping them saved as a counter or a weighted count within the compound data structure that I reformatted. Then I can run a script every so often to clear out the least frequently used compounds or compounds with or that don't reach a certain threshold of searches. It's an excellent instinct. You're thinking like a systems architect now. Tracking search frequency or access count per compound is a lightweight but powerful metric for deciding what to keep versus purge. Here's a breakdown of why this is useful and how you could restructure it. Why tracking search frequency works. Prioritizing real usage. You're not just caching passively, you're making decisions based on demand. Keeps caching meaningful. Enables long-term optimization. So this is like a suggested last access. You could give it a time. Interesting. See, right now we're formatting it as name, ID, description ref, the solvent used, and then the maximum, and then just the data. Sorry, I'll ask you. LeetCode is just like, it's just this site. It's just algorithmic learning. So it just is a site that has over like 2,500 questions about that you can solve for algorithms, and they're all for learning like time complexity and space complexity, and they're used. The big thing with LeetCode is they're used in software developer interviews. So that's why people like grind and study them, because that's what these companies are asking. Now companies are starting to like move away from them because people have started to develop tools to cheat in them and whatnot, and a lot of it some people just kind of memorize rather than and whatnot. So
what's the brand of your shampoo?
The ladies is John's shampoo. Okay. You could run a script daily or weekly to purge anything with search count with less than the threshold, or delete based on both count and last access timestamp. So if the search count is 5, but the last access was 6 months ago, then we can remove that. Ah, this is getting interesting. This is getting interesting. I like this idea. So, interesting. All right.
Myrtle says, "Oh, I see. Thanks."
We'll have to keep this in mind. Okay, let's go. Okay. Bug fixes. Clearing print, clearing. Debug. let's go get check out main. All right, cool.
John says, if you click the Git symbol in Xcode, you can see diffs.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Nice. All right, let's make sure that pushed up and we got credit for today. Oh, they changed this. They updated this. They added a little border. Ah, they added a border to each of the boxes. Interesting. They changed the design of this. They added a border now. 8 contributions today. Not bad. All right, guys.
John says when there are changes.
All right, you guys. So tomorrow we'll work on our caching, and then we'll also start getting our about page and our home page figured out. Because then we're ready to go. We've gotten everything pretty much like at least working for the dynamics of the page and the what the site is supposed to do. Now it's basically just optimizing our back end and getting the just the beautification of the home and the about. So we have we can we resized this. We made these a little bit bigger. So now this looks a little bit better. And so you can type in compounds and search. You get a status of successful on searches. You get the compound name, a description, the spectral data associated with it, and then you can generate its absorb sim here. Right? You can go ahead and generate the absorb sim, and this generates the plot. We added in some X and Y and X label axes here. You can hover over the individual points on the plot and see where they're at, which is really cool. And then we also added so we changed up the hover effects on these buttons, which is nice. And then we linked this download button to actually download with a custom name here of the absorption spectroscopy plot. So then you get the plot here, which looks really, really awesome. So I'm super, super happy with the project so far. This is the best project I've ever built so far. Definitely super happy with it, and it's really cool. All right, you guys. If you guys are new here, my name is Michael. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. No way this is free. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I graduated back in 2021. I'm 26 years old. I've been teaching myself how to code, and mainly Python, and starting to get into some more web development, full stack development, using my chemistry knowledge and biology knowledge as developing like cool products like this, kind of like real world products that users can use, educators and students to learn about spectroscopy and different types of chemistry and biology related concepts, which is really awesome. I've been teaching myself how to code for 1 year now, so we've honestly, this is really, really cool that I've been able to move this quickly in 1 year. It just goes to show the impact, or the hard work is really paying off. I have over honestly, I can go back and add it up, but probably close to over like 600 or 700 hours now of live streaming. We're probably coming up on 1,000 hours of live streaming, just of learning to code, reading books, actually just writing code, practicing. So it's a lot of hours gone into this over this year. Every single day, it's an everyday thing, grinding away, learning as much as I can, practicing. But I'm wanting to keep going with our knowledge though. Like we've been building a lot of projects because we've been trying to get ready for maybe potentially throwing our resume out there and trying to get some interviews as a dev. But I do want to. We still need to keep going with our education, right? There's still a lot of deeper computer science topics and fundamentals we need to learn about systems, architecture, hardware. I really want to learn more about I really want to potentially get like a Raspberry Pi and start messing around with that, and a little more about hardware stuff of computers, more into like binary things like that. Just lower level maybe languages into C or C++. So there's definitely some more stuff I want to go that isn't just as more like web dev related, and I just needed to kind of get some projects to really, it's honestly more superficial to get past the screenings. Coming from a non CS degree with how competitive the market is I just have to have really good projects to be even able to get on the phone with a recruiter. That's going to be, honestly, I think that'll probably be the hardest part of the process. Now, I might be naive in saying that. I don't know. I haven't tried yet, but I think I'm anticipating the hardest part about the process is the the leg under I have, or the not having the degree in CS, right? And then just trying to convince a recruiter to even let me talk to them on the phone. And so hopefully these projects are a way to actually demonstrate, my knowledge, and that I can just get past that initial barrier to potentially solve a leak code problem in the interview. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Where we'll continue on. Tomorrow we'll focus on working on our cache. So tomorrow we'll work on our cache, potentially write that script for actually um, every so often clearing out unused data or whatnot, and then and just keeping our server side more compact, and then using some strategies for this cache to only keep the data that is most consistently used. So we learned about that a little bit today, and we'll dive more in tomorrow. And then as well, tomorrow we will work on the home and the about page. And then from there, I guess we're ready to start pushing this up. So honestly, guys, like within like a week or so, I think that this project, at least the first iteration 1.0, will be done. And then like I always do with my projects, I want to open this up to you guys, the community, in my Discord, where I have currently my Chroma plot, and my small business manager project, open source for you guys to contribute to, and get some practice with yourselves. And so we can really have this opportunity as a group here to contribute to these projects and showcase our skills to employers and recruiters. Hey, I worked on an open source project with programmers by Michael Deming. I had over 100 contributors on it where we accomplished this business goal. Like that could be a really cool thing you could bring up in like an interview or something, like that you were collaborative over across like 50 different people, like on like a project or something like that. That'd be super. I think that's cool. Just whatever we can to just try our best to get somewhere in this market. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Glad and proud to say that I'm a nice dude. I appreciate you. My friends work with assembly. Awesome. Just a quick question. How'd you get ideas for the project? Yeah, so I wanted to build some chemistry related project or science related project to showcase my skills both in chemistry and programming and how I can intertwine the two. Me being a chemist by profession, I wanted to show that I actually knew what I was talking about in chemistry. Um, and then working that into code. And so I just thought of, honestly, what I said, what did I do during my undergrad that I could replicate into programming? Because a lot of what you did in undergrad was learning and more like lower level basic stuff. And so in undergrad, you do these experiments or labs called chromatography or absorption spectroscopy. So all that I'm doing here is just recreating my undergraduate laboratories that I performed in at Utah State. So I and then when I was a TA, I ran these labs, right? When I was a senior, I applied for the graduate level position to be a laboratory instructor, and I met with my the professor. And was like, hey, I really enjoyed it. I know I'm not a graduate student, but I would really love to get this experience, like leading the lab and grading and seeing what that was like. And so he took me on, and I administered and I ran the lab on a weekly basis for the undergraduates, like a freshmen and sophomores taking general chemistry. And so I had to plan out and run the chromatography and spectroscopy and all these labs. and then I had to grade everybody's lab reports and give them a grade, I call it a collegiate grade for their work. And I wasn't a strict grader. I was a pretty easy grader. As long as people like got the information there and it was clean and I gave them good marks and stuff. I didn't really take too much stuff off because I'm a pretty nice guy. But obviously you had to have the right information though. But some of those TAs they grilled people. I don't know why. I think they felt like attacked in their undergrad, so they took it out when they were the administrator, and so they would mark people down a lot, so people got really screwed, unfortunately. Yes, exactly. So like just think of stuff that you've already done, and then what I did is I had a conversation just like I did about the caching with the AI. I said, "Hey, I have this idea about spectroscopy. I did this lab when I was in college, and I did this, the yada yada yada. What are some ways that I can incorporate this into code, and um, like what are some things I might need to research into further to be able to make this goal happen?" And then it gave me some points. I went and looked into those points: epsilon, Gaussian distribution function, the Beer's law, which I already knew about, right? So it gave me these kind of different models to go research about. I looked up those models, I queried even more, and then I went into code and started writing. And then I just built, off of my previous knowledge and then obviously with some creativity. Oxygen meter, that's a cool one too, right? You could get like a sensor. Are sensors out there that detect the ambient oxygen levels in the room, and you could plug that into a Raspberry Pi and write a script to actually read and output and oxygen levels or CO2 levels. So what if you got like a CO2 reader on Amazon or something and plugged that into a Raspberry Pi and then wrote a script to actually detect, or a carbon monoxide meter, and you got a script to detect unsafe levels of carbon monoxide, and you replicated those devices, right? That's all those devices are, is just probably some kind of chip or Raspberry Pi or some sort of small computer inside that just has a sensor on it that just flags and raises an alarm when a CO or a carbon monoxide level gets too high, a CO level, right? So, think about like it could be something as simple as that, right? Or just and start with just trying to, okay, if I breathe on this meter, right? If I breathe on it, can I turn a little LED on, right? Okay, now from there, can I make a noise happen? And then soon you have a whole CO2 or O2 product, right? Pulse oximeter. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for me today. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and coding today. We got a lot done on our project. We were able to, we styled up some stuff. We we got some style. We added this little icons here. We added some styling to our buttons. Download button, successful, and then obviously labels for these graphs. And then we're going to work on our cache tomorrow, and then the other parts of the projects. I've heard of Michael Reeves. I haven't ever watched his stuff though. Anyways, you guys, please join my Discord link down below where you can get access to all of my resources and chat with me offline. I also like to talk about stocks in there. We hit actually on the Tesla fall today. I actually was early to the game. I bought a Tesla 300 put at around 9 a.m. I held it for about 5 minutes and made about 200 bucks, cashed out, and then about 5 minutes later, that thing was worth about 2,500 bucks. So quite insane how, yes, we made that profit, but 5 minutes later it went from 100% gain, which is already crazy enough, which we're lucky enough to get, right? Bless up for that. But to like a 2,500 or like 2,000% gain, which is really just mind-blowing. That's one of the craziest, fastest moves I've seen in a long time that we were actually in on, but we just in hindsight, you never know. It's all good though. It's for fun. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.